color, and quite obviously of a different size. A very special attraction. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you welcome to the ring the Belgian draft horse Hitch, presented by the Coors Company of Golden, Colorado. Into the hands of the talented Mr. HIlgendorf, ladies and gentlemen. And riding on the box tonight with HIlgendorf is Gene Gilligan, treasurer of the International Arabian Horse Association and also a national show commissioner. As Jim and over 6 tons of the best draft horses in the country. Belgian's one of the most popular of all the draft horse breeds, raised and worked by farmers and ranchers across the country. Hitch makes its way around the arena doing circles and figure eights. Those horses out in front, the lead horses, the ones the smallest and the quickest of the teams, that's Mac and Curly. 2 out front, the steering wheel. The horses in the middle are called the swing team. That's Lynn and Dan. And the big ones back there pulling all that weight, the wheel horses, Keith and Buck, next to the wagon. This hitch has tremendous size, being one of the largest hitches in the world today. The horses stand from 17 to 19 hands and weigh between 2,000 and 2,400 pounds each. They cost between $5,000 and $10,000 each. The wagon is $15,000 and the harness is $25,000, just in case you're deciding to go out and start your own hitch. There are 3 lines in each hand. Horses being controlled with the driver. Some 60 years ago, this was a common sight as Coors delivered its fine beer to the retailers. But with automation, today's Coors drivers are those with the steering wheel instead of the 6 lines. Coors decided to bring back a tradition and a time in history when these horses were the power that moved America. Come into position for the docking and just hold your applause for a moment as Jim maneuvers the team. Back the wagon up right there to the dock to make a delivery of that fine Coors beer. Does have one luxury that the old time drivers didn't have. He has 3 assistants ready to run and help him right there. Hold your applause for a moment, please. Jim controls these horses with his hands and also with his voice. took a little doing, but look where that wagon is and the team. A big hand for Jim HIlgendorf, ladies and gentlemen. Jim maneuvering the big team around the wagon, around the ring. World-famous Coors Hitch from Coors Company and the local distributor, the Maloof Company. I invite you to stop by and visit the Coors Draft Horse display at the corner of 5th and Main after the show and get a look at these beautiful animals. Watch Jim maneuver them around the ring, ladies and gentlemen, as they head for the gate. A big hand for Jim HIlgendorf and the Adolph Coors Company Hitch of Belgian Draft Horses. Thank you, Jim. Another great drive. Mr. Jim HIlgendorf, and his co-driver tonight is Marge Neely, wife of IHA First Vice President Buford Neely. Over 6 tons of the best draft horses in the country. Belgians are the most popular of all the draft horse breeds, raised and worked by farmers and ranchers across the country. Being maneuvered around the ring by the talented hands of Jim HIlgendorf from Simla, Colorado. Moving around the ring, doing circles and figure eights. I want to introduce you to these horses, the lead horses, the ones who must be the smallest and quickest of the group. That's Mac and Curly. They're the two out front, the steering wheel of this big rig. The horses in the middle are known as the swing team, and that's Lynn and Dan. And the big horses, the wheel horses, Keith and Emerson. Tremendous size that you see here, ladies and gentlemen. One of the largest hitches in the world today. The horses stand from 17 to 19 hands high and weigh between 2,000 and 2,400 pounds. Oh, and just in case you're thinking of starting your own hitch, the horses cost about $5,000 a piece. Between $5,000 and $10,000. The wagon is $15,000. The harness costs $25,000. And of course that doesn't buy any hay or grain or all the water and caretakers it takes to keep this beautiful hitch on the road. Jim has 3 lines in each hand. Each horse is being controlled by the driver. Some 60 years ago, this was a common sight as Coors delivered its fine beer. Today, the Coors driver has power steering instead of 6 lines. Ladies and gentlemen, during this next portion of the program, we'll ask that you hold your applause and listen carefully. You can hear Jim speak to each of the horses and each of the teams. They came up to the dock. Swung out of the way of traffic. Now watch Jim swing them the other way. bet you saw Jim swing them both ways and put that wagon right there to the loading dock to unload that fine Coors beer. There you are, ladies and gentlemen. A big hand for Jim and the Coors Hitch. Jim moves them off. Make another good delivery of that Coors beer. We'd like to thank Adolph Coors and the local distributor, Mail Company, bringing you these outstanding horses. Also invite you to stop by the Coors Draft Horse Display at the corner of 5th and Main after the show. Get a look at these beautiful animals. Under the great hands of Mr. Jim Hilgendorf, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Belgian Draft Horse Hitch from the Adolph Coors Company of Golden, Colorado. And let's give Jim and the Belgian horses and his co-driver, Ms. Neely, a big hand, ladies and gentlemen, as they leave the ring. $3,000 has been donated to the International Arabian Horse Association, courtesy of the Jeep Corporation. Driving the Grand Wagoneers, James O'Neill, director from Region 10, and Grant Johnson, past director. Proceeds from the raffle will benefit the International Arabian Horse Foundation and the Ronald McDonald House of New Mexico. Before we get in any more trouble, I must tell you that James O'Neill is director of Region 9. Okay. Jeep is an official sponsor of the International Arabian Horse Association. The Grand Wagoneer, Jeep's top-of-the-line vehicle, is the official vehicle of International. Now, tickets for this raffle are available here on the fairgrounds in the lobby. Individual tickets are $1 each, or 6 for $5. It's difficult to lose here, ladies and gentlemen. You might win the Grand Wagoneer, and if not, you're helping the International Arabian Horse Foundation and the Ronald McDonald House of New Mexico. So be sure and get your tickets for the raffle. You do not have to be present to win, and you might be the winner of this beautiful 1986 Jeep Grand Wagoneer. And let's have a big hand for the folks from the Jeep Corporation, ladies and gentlemen, for their generous donation. Horse Hitch. Under the talented hands of Mr. Jim Hilgendorf from Simla, Colorado. His co-driver today is the chairman of the National Show Commission, Mr. Norm Dunn, ladies and gentlemen, the California Cowboy. Over 6 times of the best draft horses in the country, Belgians are the most popular of all the draft horse breeds, raised and worked by farmers and ranchers. The Hitch is skillfully driven by Jim Hilgendorf from Simla, Colorado. Watch the Hitch move around the ring. I'd like to introduce you to the horses. The lead horses are Mac and Kersey. Those are the 2 out front. The steering wheel, the lightest and the quickest of the horses. The middle horses. There we go. There we go. The middle horses are the swing team. That's Lynn and Dan. Those big horses, the ones closest to the wagon, are Keith and Emerson, the wheel horses that move that weight around. Watch Jim move this wagon right around the ring. This hitch has tremendous size. It's one of the largest hitches in the world today. The horses stand from 17 to 19 hands and weigh between 2,000 and 2,400 pounds. The horses cost between $5,000 and $10,000 each. The wagon cost approximately $15,000 and the harness about $25,000. Now there are 3 lines in the driver's hand, each hand, and he has individual control of each horse. Now, ladies and gentlemen, during this next portion of the drive, we would ask that you hold your applause, and we'll ask that you be very quiet. We're going to dock the horses, and if you will be very quiet, you can hear Jim shout the commands to these horses as he speaks to them. Backing them up to the dock. Right there to make a delivery of that good Coors. Now, in the olden days, when you backed up that way, your team was out in the line of traffic. So it was necessary to swing them around out of the road so that traffic could continue down the road. But sometimes when you did that, you had another portion of the loading dock blocked off, so it was necessary to swing them another way so another team could get in to make a delivery. So this time with a little G, Jim moves them around, and you notice the wagon never moved. You can continue to unload the Coors right there at the loading dock. Now then a little haul. And right back, ready to pull off and make another delivery. Mr. Jim HIlgendorf, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's time to move off and make another delivery of that great Coors. And today's drivers have the power steering, the automatic transmissions, the air-conditioned cabs. But Jim has it all right there in his hands. Watch him swing this wagon around very tight on that 5th wheel.